Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to my kitchen here on the Rythmia Facebook page. Super excited to be here. Before I get rocking, I'm gonna wait and see people are hopping on here right now. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm gonna call you guys up on my laptop here so I can pay attention to what's going on. Let's see here. Today is Sunday, July 12th. Obviously it's not Sunday, July 12th if you're watching this on replay. Thank you for joining me. Now, let me know. Okay, audio sounds good. Where you're watching from. I'm gonna call you guys up on my laptop here. So all right. Pay attention to what's going on. I might pull this camera a little bit closer just to let you guys see a bit better. Sunday, July 12th. There we go. All right, so where are you guys watching from? Who is joining me? I see a lot of familiar faces, well, names and faces popping up here on the viewing list. Would love to know where you guys are tuning in from. We are coming to you live from a cloudy Tamarindo area in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Hey, Brittany. So glad that you caught me live. You're watching from Idaho. Christy Cobb says, hello, beautiful, back to you. So like I said, I'm coming to you live from an area just outside of Tamarindo, Guanacaste. Typically, I am coming to you live from Rythmia, but with everything that's going on in the world, we are still closed, waiting for the borders, waiting patiently for the borders to reopen here in Costa Rica. I've got Randa watching from Quebec. Christy's watching from Oregon, USA. My mother, Terry Pearson, is watching from Canada. Rhonda says hello from Anna Maria Island, Florida. Wow, super cool. Hi, Mom, by the way. Good to have you here. So good to have you here. I have a batch of orange date muffins in the freezer, made fresh yesterday or day before yesterday. It's a recipe of my mom's, delicious. It's become a family favorite. You can go back a couple of months. I made that recipe live on Everyday Brunch. Delicious recipe. It's an orange. You use the whole orange peel and everything, dates. I substituted for gluten-free flour. I use coconut flour these days. It's a really great breakfast recipe. I've got Beth Ann Hughes saying she's watching from Hopewell Junction, New York. Hopewell Junction, New York. That's a fun one to say. Okay, so you guys are tuning in for Cauliflower Wow! And I chose this topic a while back because cauliflower, do you remember a couple of years back when cauliflower all of a sudden was like skyrocketing in price? Maybe it wasn't a few years ago, maybe it was more recent than that. Hey there, Donata, so good to see you. Watching from Lithuania, holy crap. Cool, man, I love seeing people from all over the place. I wonder what time is it in Lithuania? It's probably in the evening. What are you, 6 hours ahead? Is it 8 p.m., 9 p.m.? I have no idea, I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. I could be completely wrong. Please correct me on that. What was my point? Cauliflower, yes. I found them super affordable in one of my local markets here in Costa Rica, so I grabbed a few heads and decided I needed to play around with some recipes. Hello from Brazil. Gabriel's watching from Brazil. Wow, so cool. Donata says it's 11:03. Okay, so you are 9 hours ahead of us here in Costa Rica, which would make you 7 hours ahead in Canada, which makes sense. My head automatically goes to Eastern time because that is where I grew up. Okay, so sorry, I'm just watching my neighbor, this little girl, she's 7 years old, just had to run outside the security gate because her dog, her puppy, she went to catch her puppy, so she's carrying her puppy with her, and her puppy is almost as tall as her, so it's quite cute. I'm just making sure everything is good through the patio doors here. Everything is well. Okay, so I've already got something in the oven here that's smelling really good. I'm gonna get to showing you guys the recipe for that. Kristen is watching from Idaho, and Janet's watching from Sonoma. Wow, so cool. So I'm gonna show you two different recipes here today. And the first one, I've already got a finished product in the oven, but I'm gonna show you guys how I do it now, and that is a cauliflower crushed pizza. And I know that there are a million different recipes for this you can find online, but some of them they're overcomplicated in the presentation, so I wanna show you guys how easy it can be. So, when you're making a lot of these alternative cauliflower recipes, they call for you to create cauliflower rice. Now, you can buy this in the grocery store now. I've seen it. Hello from Texas, says Francesca. Mike says, so hungry. Yeah, I'm so hungry too. It smells so good what's going on in the oven right now. So cauliflower rice, you can buy it and then they pre-rice it for you, but I want to show you how easy it is. I'm going to show you two ways to do it. So here, I've just got some cauliflower that I have already gone ahead and washed. So this is about a half of a large head of cauliflower that I cut into florets, soaked it in water with a bit of salt, give it a good zhuzh to get any debris that might have been in amongst all the branches, and then I let it dry in a colander for like a half an hour. So now it's pretty dry, so that's really great. Joanne says, greetings from Canada, and Marty says, looking as beautiful as ever, Exeter girl. Oh, good to see you, Marty. Exeter, Ontario. That's where I grew up, real small town. We had, how many traffic lights? 1 traffic light, I believe, when I was growing up. I think there's probably 2 or 3 now. Was it 1 traffic light and like 12 donut shops? Okay, so we got the cauliflower here. So I'm going to show you the one way that I like to rice it, and that is using my high-powered blender. You can probably do it in any blender. This is the easiest way, I find. So I grab a few heads. I'm not going to do it all because I want to show you in the food processor. Grab a few heads, and then we're just going to pulse it in the blender. Really, really easy. This is an easy way to make cauliflower rice. Boom. What? How easy is that? The key to doing it in your blender is to do it in small batches. You don't want, you put in too much, you're gonna end up with big chunks flying around. So look at that. That took literally, what, 10 seconds? Stephanie's saying hello from Florida. Marty's saying LMAO, laughing my arse off. Hey Scarlett, hey gorgeous darling, back at ya. So I've already got this part riced, so I might rice it a little bit more. I want it a little bit finer, so I'm gonna do that. So we're just tuning in, we're ricing cauliflower using the blender here. I just went a little bit fast for TV there because I wanted to get it down into a bit of a finer texture. So I'm just gonna dump this in my bowl, and then we're gonna be adding more ingredients to this. So for the recipe, what I would say here for 1 cauliflower crust, because that's what we're doing, I would say go for about 2.5 cups of cauliflower riced for 1 like 12-inch pizza. What's my mom saying? 1 traffic light back then, and now 2 lights. Only 3 donut shops now, but there was a lot more donut shops when I was growing up. Hence why I worked in a donut shop for many, many years. I worked as the cashier. I worked at the drive-thru. Hello, may I take your order, please? A large double with 1 maple dip. That'll be $1.95 drive-thru. Did that for a long time. I was really good at the drive-thru. And then I was a baker, and I worked the 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. shift baking everything except for the donuts. I didn't make the donuts. I made the muffins and the croissants and the buns and the biscuits, and I made all of that. So I did that for a while too. That was all through high school. And then when I was in college, I also worked at a donut shop. Anyways, so this is the other part. It's probably about 1 3/4 cups of the cauliflower, and I'm going to put this into my my food processor. So into this food processor, the bowl of my food processor, if I was doing the whole recipe in this processor, it would be 2.5 cups of washed cauliflower. And I'm going to toss in 1 garlic clove, and this is going to give our crust a little bit of delicious flavor. I'm going to toss that in. So I'm using the S blade in my food processor. And I just want to do the same thing I did with the other one. I want to rice it. I've got 1 big piece here that doesn't want to break up, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of help. And you just got to be careful. You got to be careful to walk the line between making rice and making a puree. We don't want a cauliflower puree. So there we go. Oof, garlicky. So I've got my rest of my cauliflower, look at that, perfectly riced with the garlic. So we've got the built-in flavor. I'm going to dump it into my big mixing bowl. Then the next most important ingredient in this recipe is cheese. So you could use any kind of cheese you want. I'm going to remove my S blade from my food processor because I'm going to use this again with my cheese. I'm going to grate my cheese using my food processor. So if you don't know, and I've done a whole Facebook Live on things you can do with your graters, food processors typically come with a grating attachment. So you just gotta, there's usually a couple different options. This is for the grating, like you would use a box grater. You could just grate your cheese using the box grater, but who wants to do that? That's a pain in the butt. So use your food processor, and so you just take your grater blade, make sure that the sharp part is facing up. You stick it on. Every food processor is going to be a little bit different. This is my super small, and just make sure it's on there good, right? Make sure your blades are at the top. Then you put your bowl back into the processor base. Oops. Like so. Lid on. Now your food processor has this amazing little feed chute. Like all of them have them these days. This is where I'm going to feed the cheese into, and I've got a block of cheese here. I'm going to feed my cheese into this, and it's going to press the cheese into that spinning blade, and that's going to grate the cheese. Easy peasy. About something. I don't know what. The baby's crying now. I don't know what's going on. So look at that. Grated cheese. Excellent. So now we're going to dump that in. And this was probably about 3/4 of a cup of cheese is what I was going for. So I guesstimated on the size of my block, and I think I made a pretty good guesstimate. It worked out pretty good. I'm going to soak a bit of water on this so that it's clean better. Now you take this bowl. This was a bowl that I just had the cauliflower in, so it's pretty clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my next ingredient, egg. This is 1 raw egg, so this is going to help bind this together. Now you could substitute in a vegan egg replacer if that's what you wanted. You could also substitute in a vegan cheese. I used a Swiss cheese today because I actually had 2 blocks of Swiss cheese in the refrigerator for some reason. Parmesan is also really, really good in this recipe. I'm fishing out. See, this is why you crack your egg into a separate bowl. I had to fish out a little bit of shell. And if I had dumped the cracked egg in with my cauliflower, it would have been a whole lot harder to fish that little piece of shell out. So yeah, Parmesan would be a really good cheese. I like the Swiss. I'm obsessed with Swiss right now. Any kind of cheese you want. I'm gonna add in a bit of sea salt. This is just some, pink Himalayan sea salt. And today I'm just gonna add some dried oregano, which is what I really like. Italian seasoning would be good, any kind of fresh herb, parsley. And then I'm just gonna stir this all together with my spatula. It's too easy, guys. Too easy. So I just wanna make sure that my egg really gets incorporated in this so that because it's gonna be between the cheese melting and the egg cooking, that's what's gonna hold our crust together. Oh, I forgot to do one thing, you guys, silly me. I got all yappy. So the secret to a crisp crust, and I totally forgot to do this, is you want to get rid of any excess moisture in the cauliflower. So after we did the food processor and got the cauliflower all riced with the garlic, what I should have done, and I did that for the one that's in the oven cooking right now, is take a clean tea towel, put your cauliflower in it, wrap it up into like a little sack, and then just squeeze it to get, the cauliflower would be sitting right here, just squeezing it, and it would be dripping water, so we'd do it over the sink to get all the excess cauliflower juice and water out of it, because the more water you can get out of the mix, the crispier it will be. So sorry, I forgot to show you guys that. Pretty easy stuff. So this one's not gonna be, it's gonna be a bit more of a soft crust, but it'll still be delicious. It'll just be a little bit more difficult to eat. All right, so look, what you wanna do is you wanna get it to a point where it's, you know, you run your spatula on it and it kind of all sticks together really well. And then grab a piece of parchment paper. Now I have one here. This is a cookie tray with a piece of parchment on it. I'm gonna give it a bit of a spray with just to make sure my pizza doesn't stick. So this is an olive oil, coconut oil spray. Just for a double security that nothing's gonna stick. Then I'm going to drop this in the middle, and then I'm gonna form this into my round or square or whatever shape you want pizza crust. Easy peasy. Now you want it thin-ish because you want it to get a little bit of a crust and a crispiness to it, but you don't want it so thin that it's gonna just fall apart when you top it. And just remember that it's the egg and the cheese that it looks a little bit crumbly, but once the cheese melts and the egg starts cooking, that's gonna help hold this all together. You see that I used a different tray for the one that's in the oven right now, and you'll see it makes it a little bit easier for this step. So as I'm going around here, I'm flattening it out with the spatula, and then I'm using the end here to kind of just make a bit of a crust on it, you see? And then flattening it, making it all even, using my spatula make the edges nice and then flattening it. There we go. So it's not a perfect round one, but it'll be good enough. It's good enough for TV, as we used to say. So I'm just pushing the edges around to make a bit more of a crust to help hold the toppings on. One last once over here, make sure it's a nice even thickness so it cooks evenly. Yum, yum, yum. And then into the oven we go. So this will bake, I bake it at 400, and right now I have it at 425 for about 30 to 40 minutes. You're gonna wanna double check on it. Check on it after like 20 minutes. Once you start to smell it, I'd say have a look. Maybe rotate the pan, that's what I've done in mine. Mine's been in the oven for 30 minutes so far. So, toss this one in. And by the magic of TV, what? Look at that. Oh my God, so good. Now, the beauty of doing it in one of these tins, like I did, this is a tart pan, is it's easy for removing once the time comes, which we'll do once we top it. But look at that, you just, dun, da, da, and then it's ready to go. But before we do that, we're gonna top it. So this tart pan is great for making these pizzas. And it gives it a little extra crisp. So now we need to top it. I'm actually gonna let it cool off a minute before we do that, before we top it so that all the stuff doesn't run off, but look at that, it's so good. So there is the pizza crust. Okay, so the other recipe, so now that one's in the oven. The other couple things I wanted to talk to you guys about is other ways to use rice cauliflower. So this is something we did last night. So in here, this was ground turkey, probably about half ground turkey that I browned. And then I sauteed a bunch of riced cauliflower with taco spice seasoning. So cumin, chili, garlic, a bit of tomato paste, oregano, onion, and then combined the turkey with the sauteed cauliflower and some fresh cilantro. And then this is what we put on top of our taco salad bowls last night. It'd be great filler for inside tortillas, but this is a great way to sneak some extra vegetables in. You know, you got extra, the cauliflower and the turkey, you can't tell the difference between the two as you're eating it. A really great way. It also lightens up the animal protein load. I don't eat much animal protein, but when I do, I like to do things like this so it's not quite so heavy. So that was a little sneak trick that we like to do. Now the next recipe I want to show you guys real quick is are we still live? I'm not seeing anyone making any comments here. So if you're just hopping on to join me, please let me know where you're watching from so I can make sure that everything is still running tickety-boo. Looks like we're still live. So the next thing I want to show you guys is a really easy recipe. This is for all my keto friends out there. So a lot of people that like to eat that way. This is going to be a keto style potato salad. What? So what I've gone ahead and done before you guys joined me is I roasted about 3 cups worth of broccoli florets, and this was just on a cookie sheet with a bit of avocado oil and sea salt, and then I cooled it. So I'm just going to toss that into my bowl here. So instead of potatoes, cauliflower is going to be the base of this potato salad. So it's a cauliflower salad. And the other thing I've gone and done ahead of time, and you can omit this if you're following a vegan diet, is I have done some hard boiling of some eggs. So I had 4 eggs here that I've hard boiled, and then I threw them into an ice bath. So the way I boil my eggs is I put them into the pot, cover them with water, put them on the stove, crank it to high. When it comes to a boil, I take them off the heat and let them sit for 18 minutes. And that's the way I like my eggs. So I'm gonna take the peel off this. Easy peasy. Hey Jills, yep, live, watching from Kansas City. I spent some time in Kansas City in the summer of 2015. I appeared on Fox, a morning show on the Fox network in Kansas City, doing some cooking, doing Costa Rican style food, Mexican Costa Rican fusion food actually. Can't remember, channel 9 was it? I can't remember the channel. It was a Fox affiliated channel. I did some morning television, that was fun. So I got my egg here. So I got my cauliflower in the bowl. Now I'm gonna just chop up this hard-boiled egg. You can put 1 in, 2 in. Oh, look at that, it was perfect. So like I said, eggs in the pot, bring it to boiling, take it off the heat, let it sit for about 18 minutes. It's perfect. And I boiled a bunch because they'll last in the fridge for several days. My daughter likes hard-boiled eggs. Levi likes hard-boiled eggs. My daughter actually loves eggs, period. She will eat eggs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I let her. So I'm just gonna put one in here for now. So we got eggs and cauliflower, pretty traditional potato salad so far. I'm gonna add in some celery. So just a couple of stalks of celery I'm gonna slice up. Here, let me see if I can tilt this down. You guys looking at my yapping face and not at what I'm doing here. Helen says, love from Denmark. What? Super cool. Janet says, yeah, she loves the keto. Okay, Jill Peters, yeah, Fox Channel 4. Fox Channel 4, that was what it was. I think I have a link to that on my website if you guys want to check that out. So I'm just slicing up some celery. So this is gonna give a nice crunch because the cauliflower was roasted, so it's got great flavor, but of course it's gonna be a little bit soggy once we get all the dressing and stuff on there. But celery stands up to dressing, so that's why I like to put it into these types of salads. So I'm gonna add in these 2 stalks, and I've already gone ahead and pre-sliced a little bit. So there's our crunch factor. Then I've got a couple of other ingredients here. I've got a couple of salty pickles that I've sliced, and these are pickled red onions. So these are the onions that I'm always making here. If you watch me, you see I use them in a million different recipes. So it's just red onion that I have thinly sliced and then put with apple cider vinegar and a bit of water and let them sit for about, a few hours to a couple of days. So that's the base of my salad. So good. So now we need some flavoring. So I'm gonna add in some salt. I would add in black pepper, but we had people for dinner the other night and dropped the pepper shaker and smashed it on the floor. And we've yet to replace it because we're not leaving the house that much right now. I'm gonna add in some mustard. So this is a Dijon mustard that I'm gonna put in for some tang. And it's spicy. I'm gonna add in some rice vinegar, just a titch. I like that tang. And then the mayonnaise that I have here today is, it's a vegan one. Sorry, I had an itch on my chin. It's a vegan mayonnaise made out of sunflower seeds. So it's a really easy recipe. If you've watched my videos here, I do cashew mayonnaise all the time. I didn't have any cashews, so I substituted sunflower seeds. Really easy. It's just sunflower seeds, some garlic, cumin, water, nutritional yeast, a little bit of vinegar, easy peasy. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in here. This is about a half a cup. I'm not going to need that much. Give that a stir. And this is a great vegetarian option to bring to, you could omit the egg and make it be a vegan option to bring to any sort of picnic. I know we just had a big holiday weekend last weekend, both in the US and Canada. A holiday week anyway. Oh, so good. Yummy. Look at that. Better than potato salad. So good. It's lighter on the belly, and that's gonna be an amazing. You wanna actually put that in the refrigerator. I'm gonna put it into a container here. Into a glass storage container, and let the flavors meld a bit before you serve it, because that's what needs to happen. You need to let all of the flavors start to come together. The onion permeate. You could toss in some green onions, would have been really good if you didn't want to do the cidered onions. Some chives. Substitute, you can throw in some spicy radishes, would be really, really good. Yummy. A bada boom. Bada bam. Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. Sarah saying, love from Belgium. What was that about the turkey? Is asking Sean. Is asking Sean? Sean is asking. What I had said is, let me grab a lid here. Well, that's not the right size. I'll do that after. What I had said is, last night for dinner we had taco salad bowls. Normally I do them vegetarian with just black beans, but we decided to do them with turkeys. We had ground turkey. And I had sauteed up the ground turkey, and then I sauteed up a bunch of riced cauliflower and added my taco seasonings to the cauliflower, so the cumin, the chili pepper, garlic, onion, oregano, a bit of tomato paste. You could throw in some salsa. And then I just combined the cauliflower with the turkey and re-sauteed it all, and then we ended up having a bit of a lighter on the meat, higher on the vegetable nutrition taco filler. So we just put it on top of the salads, but that would be a really great something to put inside tacos for Taco Tuesday. So let's why don't we top our pizza, shall we? So I'm gonna do this, so you guys can see. So I have this amazing crust, so good. It's gonna be so amazing. And I'm gonna top it here today just so you guys can see how pretty it's gonna be. So what I've got is, this is some sun-dried tomato pesto. Your favorite pasta sauce would be just fine. This one's got a nice, rich flavor to it. It's got lots of amazing olive oil in it. So I'm not gonna go with too thick of a layer just because it's super rich, but so delicious. You could do regular pesto, so basil pesto. I have a ton of those recipes. You probably can look back. I've done a million different versions of pesto in my videos here. I think I've done a whole Facebook Live called Pesto is the Besto. And if you Google that with Rythmia and my name, you'll probably find it on YouTube, because most of these videos end up on YouTube. Easy breezy. What else do I have here? I have already sliced some peppers. So I'm gonna toss on some, these are just sweet. I love the sweetness with all of the savory. So this is yellow pepper. Then I've got some red pepper. Now, what I like to do whenever I make pizza is have arugula standing by, so that after I've baked it, I can top my salad with arugula before I eat it. And then some olives. Now, it's up to you if you want to add more cheese to this recipe or not. There's a ton of cheese in the crust already, so I don't feel like it's necessary. But obviously, you can go ahead and do that. What we can add is, since I don't actually have any arugula right now, but the next thing, what else we can do, talking into the refrigerator, sorry guys. I don't have any arugula, but what I do have is some kale and some herbs that I could just slice up finely. Give a little bit of color. Parsley would be really good. And then just sprinkle some of that deliciousness, like so. Throw it in the oven just to heat it through and get all your toppings. Maybe you put it on a broil for a minute, and then you've got it, your cauliflower crust pizza. And look at that, it's super thin, super crispy. That is it, my friends. You can only see me from the neck down, but there we go. So I'm gonna show you what's going on with this one. So I've had this crust in here for 15 minutes. Woo! So the egg on this one is really, because, see, look at the difference. I didn't get rid of the liquid in there, so it's a bit more fluffy and it's steaming. So this one's gonna be a bit more of a doughy crust as opposed to a thin and crispy crust, but that's up to you. It depends what, everyone likes crust. Some people really love thin crust pizza, some people like deep dish pizza. So that's kind of the difference. This is your thin crust with the water squeezed out. That's your thick deep dish, soggier crust without. All right, my friends, thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, share if you think anyone could appreciate these really easy recipes. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week, the rest of your day first, the rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next week. Ciao, ciao.